What if the obstacles in your life aren't real? What if the opportunities you think are out of reach have been within your grasp all along? This is the story of a man who believed doors were closing on him, until a single lesson changed everything. Akio stood in front of the large wooden door, his hands pressed firmly against it. It wouldn't budge. He stepped back, exhaling sharply. Another closed door, another failure. No matter what he pursued, his ambitions, his dreams, it always felt like something was standing in his way. He had worked hard, planned carefully, but every time he reached for something more, it seemed as though the world conspired against him. Finally, frustration boiled over. He turned to Master Ryo, the monk who had been watching silently from a few steps away. "Master, why does life always feel like this?" Akio asked, his voice edged with defeat. "Every time I try to move forward, a door closes in my face." Master Ryo regarded him with calm eyes. "Tell me, Akio, if a door is locked, where must you look for the key?" Akio frowned. "It depends on the door." The monk smiled. "Exactly, and that is your first clue." Akio's frustration deepened. What kind of answer was that? "So you're saying the key exists?" he asked. Master Ryo only nodded. "And where is it?" The monk simply turned away and began walking toward the temple's inner courtyard. "That," he said over his shoulder, "is for you to discover." Akio clenched his fists. A riddle? That was all he was given. But something inside him refused to let the question go. If the key existed, where had he been failing to look? And so, with no choice but to seek the answer for himself, his journey began. Before we continue, let me ask you, have you ever felt like life was holding you back? Like opportunities were slipping through your fingers? Stay with me until the end, because this story might just change the way you see obstacles forever. If you're enjoying this story so far, please leave a like on this video. It's a small way to show your support and help others discover this content too. And if you're ready to explore more transformative stories like this, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way, you'll never miss a lesson that could change the way you live your life. Akio spent the next few days obsessing over the riddle. If a door is locked, where must you look for the key? The question followed him everywhere. He replayed every failure in his mind, every missed opportunity. Every time he had felt stuck, had the key to his success always been nearby? Had he simply been looking in the wrong places? Seeking answers, he began asking the villagers for their thoughts. "A key is always nearby," said a merchant. "You just have to search hard enough." "Some doors are not meant to be opened," said an elder. "Maybe you should stop knocking." "Perhaps the key is with someone else," said a traveler. "Not everything can be done alone." Each answer made sense in its own way, but none gave him clarity. He still felt lost. Frustrated, he returned to Master Ryo, determined to demand the answer. "Tell me, Master," he said, his voice laced with impatience. "Where is the key? How do I open the doors in my life?" Master Ryo simply smiled and motioned for Akio to follow. They walked through the temple's stone corridors until they reached a large wooden door, deep within the monastery. "Open it," the monk instructed. Akio hesitated, then stepped forward. He pushed, pulled, looked for a keyhole. Nothing. "It's locked," Akio sighed. "How can I open it without the key?" Master Ryo stepped beside him. Then, with a single movement, he slid the door open. Akio's breath caught. But it wasn't locked. Master Ryo's eyes twinkled. "Are you sure?" Akio's mind raced. He had assumed the door was locked, but in reality, he had never even tried to slide it. How many other closed doors in his life had been the same? Master Ryo placed a hand on Akio's shoulder. Most people see barriers where there are none. They assume things are impossible before they even try. Akio felt his stomach tighten. How many times had he given up too soon? How many chances had he walked away from, simply because he believed the door was locked? The monk turned and started walking away. "You have begun to understand," he said, "but your lesson is not over yet." Akio followed, his mind still turning. If some doors were never locked in the first place, what about the ones that truly were? He was about to find out. Akio couldn't stop thinking about the door. It had never been locked. He had only assumed it was. Had his entire life been like that? Had he given up on opportunities, just because they seemed out of reach. But as he pondered this revelation, a new question formed in his mind. What about the doors that truly are locked? Some obstacles weren't imagined, some were real. There had been times when he had tried everything, but still failed. Times when no amount of effort could open a door. Determined to understand, he sought out Master Ryo once more. Master, I see now that some doors are never locked. We only assume they are. But what about the ones that truly are closed? What if the key is missing? Master Ryo nodded as if he had been waiting for this question. Without a word, he led Akio deeper into the monastery. After walking for some time, they arrived at a small wooden chest, locked with a heavy latch. Open it, the monk instructed. Akio stepped forward, determined. He tried sliding the latch, lifting the lid. Nothing worked. This time, it really is locked, Akio said, frustration creeping into his voice. How can I open it without the key? Master Ryo smiled. Where must you look for the key? The riddle again. Akio took a deep breath. He had failed to answer it before, but this time, he wouldn't rush. He looked around. The key had to be somewhere. He checked his surroundings, scanned the walls, searched the monk's robes, but there was nothing. Then, just as he was about to give up, he noticed something. A small glint of metal, a key, resting just a few feet away on a nearby table. His eyes widened. It had been there the entire time. Akio picked it up, unlocked the chest, and lifted the lid. Inside, he found nothing but an empty space. He turned to Master Ryo, confused. What does this mean? The monk's voice was calm. Some doors are never locked. You just need to push them differently. But others require a key. And more often than not, that key is already within reach. Akio stared at the empty chest. Had he been failing not because doors were locked, but because he hadn't looked around for the key? The lesson was sinking in, but there was still one more realization he had yet to make. Master Ryo gave him a knowing look. Are you ready for the final test? Akio straightened. Yes. The monk turned toward the exit of the monastery, motioning for Akio to follow. Then come. There is one last thing you must see. Master Ryo led Akio to a secluded part of the monastery, where an ancient stone gate stood at the edge of a vast open field. The setting sun cast long shadows across the path, giving the scene a sense of quiet importance. The gate was unlike the others, massive, weathered, and truly locked. A thick iron chain secured it shut, and no keyhole was in sight. This, Master Ryo said, is your final lesson. Akio studied the gate, his mind racing. Was there a hidden mechanism, a secret trick like before? He placed his hands on the heavy wood, pushing, pulling. Nothing moved. Master, this one is truly locked. There is no key, no way forward. Master Ryo nodded. And yet, your journey does not end here. What will you do? Akio's frustration flared. If there's no way through, then what's the point? Some doors simply cannot be opened. The monk remained silent, watching him carefully. Akio exhaled sharply and turned away. Had he learned nothing? He thought back to the lessons. Some doors weren't locked at all. He had only assumed they were. Others required a key, but the key had always been nearby. But this time, there was no key, no way forward, unless... Akio turned and looked not at the gate, but beyond it. For the first time, he noticed something, a narrow footpath that curved around the stone wall, leading into the same open field. His breath caught in his chest. The gate wasn't the only way forward. Without hesitation, he stepped off the main path and followed the new route. Master Ryo smiled. Some doors are locked for a reason, Akio, but that does not mean the path is closed. Akio stared at the open field ahead of him. All his life, he had seen obstacles and given up when they seemed impossible. He had spent years banging on doors that wouldn't open, when the real path had always been beside him. Master Ryo's voice was gentle. The greatest mistake is believing that if one door is closed, your journey must end. Sometimes the way forward is simply elsewhere. Akio felt a deep sense of clarity settle over him. How many times had he believed an opportunity was lost, when in reality, he just needed to change direction? He turned back to Master Ryo and bowed deeply. I understand now, Master. I was never truly stuck. I was only looking in the wrong place. The monk nodded. Then you are ready to walk your own path. Akio took one last look at the gate, the obstacle that no longer mattered, then stepped forward onto the new path, leaving his old way of thinking behind. Have you ever felt like something was blocking your path, only to later realize the way forward was right beside you? What if every closed door is just an invitation to look for a new opportunity? As Akio walked down the new path, he felt different. The frustration, the doubts, the sense of being trapped, they were gone. For years, he had believed that life was filled with closed doors, barriers that held him back. But now he understood. I was never truly stuck, he murmured to himself. I was just looking in the wrong place. The sun had almost set by the time he reached the monastery gates. He turned one last time to face Master Ryo, who stood at the top of the steps, watching him with the same calm expression. Master, Akio said, how many people spend their lives standing before doors that aren't truly locked? The monk smiled. More than you can imagine, Akio. Some give up before even trying. Others search for a key when they only needed to push. And many waste years knocking on doors that were never meant to open. Akio nodded, a deep sense of gratitude filling his heart. And what about the doors that truly are locked? Master Ryo's eyes twinkled. Then you look around, because the path forward is always there. You just have to be willing to see it. A light breeze moved through the temple grounds as Akio turned toward the road ahead. For the first time, he didn't feel lost. He didn't feel stuck. He felt ready. He took his first step into the unknown, not with fear, but with confidence. Because now, he knew that no closed door could ever truly stop him. What's one moment in your life where you realized the way forward wasn't through a closed door, but around it? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If this story resonated with you, if it inspired you to rethink the way you see obstacles, please leave a like on this video. It's a small gesture, but it helps this message reach others who might need it today. And if you're ready to explore more transformative stories like this, ones that challenge the way you see yourself and the world, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way, you'll never miss a lesson that could change the way you live your life. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and remember, sometimes the greatest opportunities are hidden in plain sight.